Guys, we are back for episode 2. I am joined by my co-host, TheFrostZone. FrostZone, how's it going, man?
It's going good, thanks, man. Thank you for having me back on, obviously.
So, last night, obviously, Tommy Fury, Jake Paul happened. Let's get your first thoughts on that. Let's see what you think.
Well, I think it's a big mental edge for Tommy Fury.
Yeah, definitely.
Jake Paul, he's proven he's a legitimate fighter. I know he lost, but he took some big shots. We've got to take him seriously now. And I still think there's room for him in this scene. Maybe not fighting pro boxers, but a lot of high level fighters and influencers.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's going to get to that world championship level. Definitely not Canelo, but yeah, I agree. I think he's definitely a legitimate boxer, and he probably could beat a lot of prospects, I think.
100%, yeah. There's a lot of fighters who are worse than Tommy Fury who Jake Paul would beat.
Yeah.
And Jake Paul could win a rematch.
Definitely, but Cole Froch, that defo cannot happen now.
No, that's done.
Yeah, that's over.
Yeah,
So, what do you watch the ring walks? What did you think when you seen Tommy walk out?
He looked confident, man. He looked calm. He was cool, collected, whatever.
Yeah,
he didn't look nervous at all. He was smiling, happy to be there.
Yeah, Tommy said, he said in the post-fight interview, he said he felt like the fifth Beatle when he walked out. But yeah, it's crazy. He had a better reception than Jake Paul, which a lot of people was not expecting.
Yeah. Well, it's just, I guess just no one likes Jake. Tommy's not exactly the most popular figure, but when it comes to him versus Jake, it was obvious who was going to be the favourite.
Yeah, exactly. What did you think when Jake Paul walked out? Because I could sense nerves. He took ages, but when the camera went to the changing room and he was just putting like his jacket on quickly, he looked nervous.
Yeah, he looked Jake the nerves had hit him at that point, which was surprising because I thought Tommy would be the more nervous one, but no, Jake didn't look ready. But he warmed into it as the fight went on. But you could tell in his first few rounds he looked a bit, clunky, showish, whatever.
Yeah,
he looked nervous.
Yeah, he said he flatlined, but it did look like it was almost like an adrenaline dump. But he did, as you said, find his way back into the fight. But
yeah,
it
was impressive for him to come up to raise the levels, and being such a new fighter, it's difficult to do.
Yeah, I agree. For Tommy Fury, I'm surprised how confident he was considering it was his first main event.
Yeah, it was a big stage. He had a lot of pressure on him, but he overcame it well.
Yeah, 3 years of people saying he was going to lose to Jake Paul.
Yeah, and that must have been embarrassing for him when he's got a goal as being world champion.
Yeah, definitely. Was you surprised at how Jake Paul and Tommy first came out in the first round?
Yes, I was very surprised, especially by Tommy. I remember I said in the first episode of Crossover Convos, I said that I think Tommy's going to be aggressive. I had visions of as soon as the bell going, Tommy Fury doing sort of similar to what Nate Robertson did, where he just rushes out. Yeah. That's what I kind of thought was going to happen. And Jake, I didn't think Jake was a game plan was too surprising. I thought he would be a bit more. I thought he'd be sticking the jab out more than he did, but he was quite slow and gun shy at first. But Tommy, I was very surprised how he came out, but he did the right thing.
Yeah, Tommy, I thought he was going to be more aggressive, but it was more of a calculated aggression. I thought maybe the emotions would get to him and he would just go out first round and just swing for the heavens.
Yeah, that's generally what I was expecting, but it didn't happen that way at all. And very impressive from Tommy on that mental edge.
Yeah, it looked like when Tommy first started landing those jabs, it kind of looked like Jake was like, it's going to be a long night.
Yeah, those jabs, they were popping Jake's head back all night. It was different. He felt the first jab and that was that. You could see the effect it had.
Every time Jake got jabbed, I don't know if you noticed, but it looked like Jake was just going... Looked like every time he got jabbed, he was just breathing that heavy because he was like, fuck.
Yeah. He was definitely feeling the effects of those.
Yeah, but you said something in your prediction. You said Tommy would keep dropping that left hand.
Yeah.
And you was correct. Jake did land the right hand a few times in that fight.
Yeah, that left hand, it was so yo.
Was you surprised at how Tommy took Jake's? overhand right?
No, not really, because I don't think Jake yanded it as keen as he wanted. And I think Tommy did do better than I thought with head movement. I thought he did
Yeah,
manage to yawn away from the punch to take some impact off it.
yeah,
So I think had he have not had that yearning away, I think it would have done more impact and more
yeah,
damage.
definitely.
But
Yeah. And as well, with that overhand right, I knew Tommy would get caught by it, and obviously Tommy's took bigger punches. But I was kind of surprised that, obviously, as you said, Jake didn't really land flush, but I was surprised Tommy didn't go down at least one more time.
yeah, I thought Jake could have done more damage to Tommy for sure.
Yeah,
But
because at one point it did look like, not in the eighth round, I can't remember. The fight's a bit of a blur. You know, when you watch the
yeah,
fight and the next day, it's like you don't really remember everything what happens. But
yeah,
yeah, because at one point in the fight, it looked like Tommy was a bit more hurt. I think it was a check left hook, maybe actually.
yeah. I think it was the fourth one, was that?
Yeah,
He
maybe.
lands a
But
left hook.
Jake did keep landing that check left hook. At first, it didn't really work, but it was starting to work. Tommy's movement could have been a bit better, I think, in the later rounds.
100% agreed. Yeah.
Because at first I liked his movement. He was getting out of the way. He was doing the right thing. And I feel like in the later rounds, he kind of just started standing there.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. I said it as well in the first episode. I feel like Tommy's head movement needs the off improvements. And
Yeah.
hopefully he can sort out for the rematch.
Yeah, the rematch. That's going to be crazy.
Yeah, that's going to be fireworks, that one.
But as well, in the fight, what do you think Jake Paul's feeling right now?
Jake, whether Jake genuinely believes he won the fight, I don't know. He probably does, knowing Jake. Jake will just be disappointed. He'll be hungry to get his win back. And that's what he said in the post-fight conference, didn't he? He'll just be, taking it in, and then the next few days he'll be back in the gym working on getting that rematch clause activated.
Yeah, I agree. And it's weird as well because Jake Paul, obviously now he's lost, but I feel like it will kind of eat away at him because he could have done more last night. But that's the question. I think Jake could have done more, but do you think Tommy had it in him to do more last night?
I think if Tommy needed to go up, I feel like he could have done. He did what I said he needed to do, and he kept that control level here. The level didn't really raise at any point. So I feel like Tommy had another level in him, maybe. But Jake, I do feel like could have done more as well.
Yeah, Tommy, that's the thing. I felt like there were certain moments in the fight he definitely could have stepped up the gas, maybe knocked down Jake Paul. But there is that danger with Jake Paul because of that overhand right. You could go in thinking you're going to finish him off, and it could be an AJ Ruiz moment.
Yeah. I mean, Jake. We saw in the last round, Tommy commits to a jab and Jake counter punches. Suddenly, Tommy's down. It's like Jake is very good at counter punching, and that is what he does. So,
do you think that was a slip or a legitimate knockdown? I think it was a knockdown.
It was a knockdown. It was Tommy was off balance. He committed to the jab, and Jake caught him. It was a knockdown.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people are saying a slip. It's like no, it was definitely Jake definitely knocked him down.
No, the punch caused him to slip. That was what happened. So,
yeah, it was a beautiful fight, and it was closer than I thought because I thought you'd get him out under 4 rounds.
Yeah, no, I said Yate in the 8 rounds as well. I said Jake in the 6th, but I did say if Tommy was to win, it'd be by decision.
Yeah, and let's speak about that fake script that me and Pineda made up. But I genuinely, it got scarily close to becoming true.
yeah, it wasn't a bad script at all.
Yeah, it was close.
Yeah, and I know it wasn't the exact round, but Tommy did even get a cut in the FDI in the last round, didn't he?
Yeah, when they mentioned the eye, because at first they mentioned the eye, but it was of Jake Paul. But I thought if they were going to say Tommy Fury that early, I was going to be like, oh no, the script's real.
Yeah.
But in the end, when Tommy got his eye, I was like, no way. Like, that's script, obviously it's fake. A lot of people believe that. I don't know how.
Oh, God, me neither.
Yeah, but it was scarily close to becoming true.
Yeah, mate, honestly. The script was well written, to be fair, and they did all right to predict it.
Yeah, whoever made that, they should make predictions.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Just
was
sitting
actually a
around
good
with a
script.
crystal ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
The rematch. How do you think the rematch goes?
Pretty similar to the first, to be fair. Again, I think it's going to be the same story. I think it will be a very unpredictable. So there'll be many scenarios that could happen.
Yeah.
Jake's going to need to set up his punches more, throw more combinations than just the overhand right.
Yeah.
But I still think Tommy has another level that he could have shown in that fight. So I do feel like Tommy will get the win again.
Yeah, I feel like the thing what also made Tommy, it was not just the nerves, but 3 years of people saying you're going to lose your family name. And let's just speak about that for the moment, because at the post-fight press conference, Tommy was on about people saying he would lose his family name, he wouldn't be allowed back on the same plane as... Did Tommy forget it was his own family who said all these things? Because
Yeah.
John Fury started listing off everything everyone said to Tommy Fury in the build-up to the fight, and everything what was said was from the Furies.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually said themselves that he could stay in Saudi Arabia for years.
Yeah, everything Tommy was listing that made him nervous was everything John Fury had said.
Yeah. Oh, it was mental, that.
But I do agree, Tommy Fury definitely has another level, and we are going to see that. And now he's got a sense of what Jake Paul's going to come out like. And Jake Paul, I think he was struggling to find the feints. I feel like Tommy's feints was throwing him off, and he wasn't really understanding some of his movements.
Yeah, I agree with that. Tommy's feints are actually quite good. He has a lot of those sudden movements that confuse a lot of fighters. But going into the rematch as well, I feel like it's just one of those things. Tommy's now got the mental edge even more, saying, I've already beat this guy, so I can do it again.
Well, it's actually, unlike Jake Paul, Tommy Fury hasn't had that experience. He's not been, what was his last fight, like 40 months ago?
Yeah, something like that.
So he's not been in the ring, so he's got a bit of ring rust, and he's still managed to beat Jake Paul. So obviously now he's got the pressure that's off his shoulders. He knows what Jake Paul's going to come out like. Full be it next time Jake Paul's going to come out better, but
yeah,
I think
Jake's going to have to set up shots more as well as feint more. He was too predictable with his overhand right.
Yeah. Jake was just basically walking into certain shots.
Yeah.
Like, the game plan was to come forward. I messaged you the night before, and I even said to you, I was like, I think Jake Paul's going to try pushing back.
Yeah.
And at the start of the round, one of his teammates said, whatever you do not go back.
Yeah.
But I feel like Jake Paul's plan was to come forward, but he didn't really have the strategies in place to come forward but make it effective.
Yeah, that was the thing. I think he was just too predictable. That was the problem. He couldn't really get forward because Tommy was seeing everything he was doing.
Yeah.
So,
Tommy.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
No. But the problem was that so Jake realized that he was being too predictable. Then he was having to rely on counter punching, which is what I said would happen. So,
yeah, the counter punching. Yeah, you predicted it.
Yeah.
Do you think in the rematch, in your opinion, do you think that is Jake Paul's going to be more counter punching this time around?
I think Jake will. I think Jake early on again. I still think first round 1 to 3, round 1 to 3. I think Jake will try counter punching, and then from there on, I think he'll be more aggressive if the fight's not going his way.
Yeah. Do you think Tommy Fury next time round, he's just going to come out, because he said he was going to come out more aggressive than what he did? Maybe next time he actually will.
Yeah, I think he can. I think he'll want to put away any doubts for sure this next time and try to get the knockout and stop Jake Paul. Yeah. So I do think he'll be more aggressive.
Well, I am proud of Tommy, because in the ring after he won, he was crying. It clearly meant a lot to him getting this win. And I just feel like it's better for Tommy, because if Jake won, I feel like Jake would have rubbed it in. It's bad.
100%. No, Tommy deserves it, man. He's worked hard. I mean, for the last 2 years, he's been putting up with this. He's put the work in, and he deserves it.
Yeah, and he was clearly happy about the belt. But it makes me think he was so happy about the belt. I get it. But then it begs the question, if Jake Paul can't get to a world championship, can Tommy Fury?
I mean, he's got a yacht to work on if he wants to get to that level.
Yeah, but he is young, 23. I suppose he does have time.
He does have a lot of time, yeah. The time's on his side. And we got to remember, although I did mention his amateur background in the first one, he did still only have, I know he was a two-time champion, whatever, but he still did only have about 20 fights in the amateurs. So he's not had much experience at all.
Yeah, I think he might even said last night it was 10 or 12.
Oh, yeah, well, something like that. It was a very small amount in a way. Like.
Yeah, but maybe they're downplaying it.
Maybe.
But
yeah, they could well be.
If Tommy lost, obviously didn't, do you think his family would have still been there and be nice to him?
Probably not, knowing the Furies. They would have. They probably meant what they said when they disowned him and leave him in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I was scared. I thought if he lost, John Fury is going to grab that mic and he's going to just roast Tommy.
Yeah. Oh God, it would have been a nightmare.
And I quickly want to mention, going quickly off topic of Tommy Jake, KSI. So last night, I joined a Twitter space. Mams Taylor had some things to say. KSI joined Twitter spaces. He was laughing at Jake Paul fans. And he thinks Jake Paul is going to be an easy fight for him. What indication do we have from any of KSI's previous fights that he could even go the distance with Jake Paul?
I mean, yeah, the thing is, I'll say this. I've told you this in the DMs. I said, Mams Taylor and KSI, they're going to know, they know more than we do. They've seen what they can do. So they're obviously going to be confident. The problem I have is with the KSI fans who are judging it solely off his fights and Jake's fights. They're saying he's going to win.
Yeah.
We ain't got any reason to believe that. If KSI beats Fournier and beats Fournier convincingly, then yeah, maybe I'll agree if it's a good performance.
Yeah.
But I still stand by, I think Jake beats KSI as things stand right now.
Yeah, understand. My concern is in KSI in the FaZe Temper fight, if you actually watch it in the first round, KSI even said he got hit by a shot from FaZe Temper and he was thinking, wow, that hurt. That just makes me think, if he gets hit by that overhand right, how is he going to take it?
Exactly, man. FaZe Temper, we saw in the first round, FaZe Temper did land a couple of shots that KSI was walking into. KSI's so aggressive, he was walking into a lot of shots. And then look what happened when Tommy walked into a shot. He got knocked down with the jab from Jake.
Well, exactly.
It's a very difficult fight to predict, and we'll have to see more from KSI. But I just think at the moment things play into Jake's hands a lot in this fight.
Yeah, in Mams Taylor, weirdly enough, he said he wanted to make the fight in the summer because if Jake loses to Tommy twice, what's the point in that fight happening? How does that make sense?
I mean, it's if they have that fight in August and KSI fights Fournier in May, then I can see it happening. I think it makes sense then.
Yeah, because Jake's definitely going to rematch Tommy straight away. He's probably in the process of doing it right now.
Yeah, probably. When do you think that fight will happen? When do you think the rematch will happen?
July?
Yeah, I was thinking June, July, something like that.
Yeah, I feel like so, unless they try and compete with one of KSI's.
Which they like doing.
Yeah, because I think KSI said, depending on the fight in May, how it goes, he might even have another one before the end of the year.
Yeah.
So we might be seeing 3 KSI fights this year. So,
and I think that's what he needs to do. I think he needs to be, sorry, pardon me. I think he needs to do Fournier in May, Woodley in August, then Jake in December.
Yeah, I agree. It's just, I don't know. Obviously, KSI gets his confidence from being a dog in the Logan fight, sparring. But we've seen KSI did get knocked down by Logan, obviously. Then Logan hit him in the back of the head, so it made it really irrelevant and a big controversy. But I just think, if he got knocked down by Logan, we know Jake can hit harder than Logan. So,
yeah.
It's not looking good.
No, it's the one. If Jake yams as KSI is coming forward, it's most likely lights out. So it's a very difficult fight to predict.
Yeah, and Tommy, KSI, let's not even go into that because Tommy would win.
Tommy would win. Well, yeah, again, as things stand, I would say Tommy would win quite
Yeah,
comfortably.
unless KSI brought that dog from Logan 2 and just magically knocked down Tommy.
Yeah, I mean, you can't underestimate the man. He's a human dog. I'll give him that, and you can never rule out KSI. But
Yeah. And Jake Paul's got heart. Jake Paul's got more heart than people believe.
oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Because look at the shots he took. If he didn't really care about boxing last night, he would have been like, "Oh, it's over."
yeah. No, Jake, he was proven against in the Anderson Silva fight as well. He's proven he can take shots and he'll come forward. He loves the sport. He genuinely loves the sport. He's working hard. He's genuinely got heart, and people need to believe that now. The boxing purists.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they can now see that.
And he's only been a professional for 3 years. So to be fair, considering Tommy Fury's boxed since he was like 6, I think he said.
Yeah.
Considering that, Jake Paul has really put in the work.
Yeah. 100%. He's working very hard, and he's no pushover by any means.
Yeah, but I said to you a few days ago in the DMs, I think I said, I hope Tommy wins the first one. Maybe Jake then wins the second, and then we get a trilogy.
A trilogy would be mental. Oh my god, that would flipping that would sell well.
Oh yeah, and Tommy would be then making the peas.
Yeah, oh, what he got like 7 million for the first one, didn't he?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he'll probably get even more for the second one since he's A side.
Yeah, I think he should have said to Jake Paul, "Is that bet still count?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What, he would have got 32 million, is it? Because Jake was getting like 24 million. So yeah, he would have got 32 million for one fight.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine that, just seeing the transfer of 7 million or 32 million if you want. Imagine seeing just that in the bank. I'm all good.
Yeah, well, that literally would have been a Yeager's bank robbery, that.
Yes, literally. But I'm impressed with both Jake, Tommy. They both did great. Obviously, the rematch is going to be very interesting. We're going to have to wait to see what that build-up's like. Obviously, I think Jake Paul's going to mention Tommy Fury crying. He's probably going to say he's a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know if you've seen this, but apparently True Geordie did a watch party to Jake Tommy's fight last night, and he was making fun of Tommy for crying, and it's like, why?
Yeah, well, yeah. Tommy's had to overcome a lot for this fight. I know he just beat a YouTuber. People are just saying, Jake's a YouTuber, but it's the mental strength, isn't it? It's the mental edge Tommy's had to go through. He's had to dig deep to get through this, and he's done that, so he should be proud of himself.
Yeah, he should, because the pressure, I feel like, obviously, take away the opponent, Jake Paul, the pressure will never probably get as big as that moment.
No.
Because he's never really going to probably be in another fight where it takes 3 years of just people going, you've pulled out twice, you're not going to win, all this kind of things.
Yeah. And the thing is, if Tommy does get to a world title fight one day, even then the pressure is not going to be the same, because the person he's fighting being a champion, it's going to be like, well, if he loses, it's not as bad because he's lost to an actual boxer who is a world champion.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, Tommy, after the let's say the rematch happens, Tommy wins. Where do you think Tommy should go?
Tommy should probably go around fighting some more journeymen, whatever, or some other prospects, whatever.
Yeah.
And just get back on his way to having those world title goals.
How do you think Tommy is going to feel? Because obviously after this Jake fight's done, the pay for Tommy Fury is probably going to decrease a little bit.
Yeah, oh yeah. He won't get 7 million again, I can tell you that.
Yeah, how do you think that's going to affect like his motivation moving forward, having that money but then getting less money to do the same job? But obviously it's going to be harder.
Yeah. Oh, I think he's if he's serious about his boxing business and generally does want to be a world champion, then I think he should be able to overcome that, and he should see that there's bigger things than money.
Yeah.
But if he, at the end of the day, he's 23. If he wants to have a couple more fights with somebody, if he wants to rematch with Jake and then KSI, something like that, then yeah, go ahead and do it, because you've got time on your side.
I agree. And with Jake Paul, it's a win-win. Even now he's lost to Tommy Fury. He's still going to get big money fights.
Yeah, 100%. The name Jake Paul will sell anything.
Yeah. Unless Jake Paul goes on a streak of losing or getting knocked out, people are going to pay to watch him fight.
Yeah.
But do you think, as well, with that being said, do you think, because Jake said at the press conference, oh, I'm in talks with Nate Diaz, do you think the Nate Diaz fight will still go ahead?
If Jake wins the rematch with Tommy Fury, then yeah, I can see it happening. But if Tommy wins the rematch, I can't see Nate Diaz being interested in that fight.
Yeah, I see if the rematch happens, depending who wins, I think they'll probably throw in a fight or two before the trilogy fight.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't think they're going to go from the first fight, second fight, not fight anyone else, straight into a third fight.
Yeah, no, I think if Jake wins, then they'll do a Nate Diaz, maybe someone else beforehand, and Tommy will have a couple of people to fight, and then they'll do a rematch, the trilogy.
Yeah, or if Jake wins the rematch, maybe after that Jake might fight KSI, throw that fight in there if Jake wins the trilogy.
Yeah, that's another possibility. I mean, there's a lot of options that could happen.
But Nate Diaz, man, like if Jake fights him, he's gonna have to be prepared for 8 rounds of carnage because Nate Diaz blocks punches with his face.
Yeah. Nate Diaz is not going to get knocked out. So
yeah, he's not human.
Yeah, Jake's really going to have to dig deep for that one.
Oh yeah, like it makes you question all these fights. Jake said before, it's like I don't think some of them will happen now that he's lost because it is like some of the people he's called out are not people to be messed with.
Yeah, I mean, people like Conor McGregor, I can't see that fight ever happening now.
That would have been
a shame.
Fight.
Yeah, it's a shame, but I don't think Conor McGregor's going to entertain that now.
No.
And then obviously people like Carl Froch, as we mentioned, Canelo, those are never going to happen.
Yeah, that's the thing now. That is the thing now. I don't know if a lot of the big fights will happen because they'll just be like, man, you lost to Tommy Fury.
Yeah.
I beat Tommy Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think if Tommy was to fight Tyron Woodley, do you think he'd beat Tyron Woodley?
I think it would be probably a decision victory for Tommy Fury. But again, it's just that one punch power from Woodley, isn't it? It's quite a similar fight to the Jake Paul one, I suppose.
Yeah, I agree. Tommy does need. I think he will work on his power. He will probably work on his movement a bit because if he stuck to his movement from the first round, second round, he would have got Jake Paul out of there.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I suppose he was getting quite tired in the 8 rounds, wasn't he? So
yeah. Well, that's the thing. I'm surprised near the end both of them weren't more gassed. To be fair,
yeah,
because near the end I was thinking, how are they actually not like proper gassed?
Yeah. No, they both got showed a lot of heart, and they both had a better card than I thought they would. I thought they would both be knackered by that point, but no, they did well.
Yeah, 8 rounds. Like everyone was saying it was always meant to be 8 rounds, but no, it wasn't. It was originally meant to be 10.
Yeah, it was a 10-round fight. That's all I'd heard. It was all of the news outlets were saying it was 10 rounds. So
if
I don't know why they changed it.
Let's go hypothetically. If we were to throw in those 2 extra rounds, do you think Tommy would have got Jake out there, or do you think Jake would have knocked Tommy down again?
No, I think the result would have been the same. I think Tommy by a decision. I think he could have came back from that knockdown and got the last 2 rounds, Tommy. So,
but yeah, with Jake and Tommy, yeah, I do agree with what you just said, and it is funny to look back because you can say, "Oh, this could have happened, that could have happened," but we weren't there in the moment. Obviously, you can say all these things now, but in the moment, it's different.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, yeah, we can go through these. We can go through all the hypothetical outcomes, but at the end of the day, we've had it. It's happened, and Tommy Fury is the winner by a decision.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
And I'm really happy Tommy won because, as I said, I think if Jake won, he would have rubbed it in bad.
Yeah, 100%. You wouldn't have had Jake shutting up. Jake would have been saying like, "Oh, I beat the pro boxer that's my age and everything," and it's like,
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the next few weeks, months leading up to this rematch because I want to know how this build-up is going to be because obviously right after a fight, everyone's nice. You have the respect. But then shortly after, maybe 2 weeks go by, the shit talking starts again.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine the build-up will be quite similar, to be honest. Knowing Jake, he'll just make a comment about Molly May or the kid, and that'll be it. It's like, well, it was all kicked off again.
Yeah, literally, I agree. Because in the rematch, like, Jake just plays a character, and he plays it quite well, to be fair. Like, in the walkout, you could tell he was nervous, but then it's like he was on Disney. He can switch it on.
Yeah. Yeah, we can say what we want about Jake. Obviously, we don't like him, whatever. And we know like, a lot of people hate Jake, but he's a very clever man, and
Yeah.
he brands himself well, and he's very clever in how he can seem more confident than he actually is, and that's something we got to respect from him.
Yeah, like in boxing, that is kind of half of the game, mental aspects, playing on things you're not feeling as. And there's a book called Art of War. They say, when people expect something, do the opposite, stay unpredictable. And Jake Paul does a good job at that.
Yeah, 100%. You can't predict Jake Paul, and you probably never will be able to. So
yeah, well, that is true. Even this next rematch, there's going to be hypotheticals like this one. What if this happens? What if that happens? But you never know until tonight.
Yeah, that's again, the rematch will be exactly the same. There is so much that could happen. And I love it. I love every minute of it.
Yeah, and it's just interesting knowing Jake Paul did flatline. You can see that. So it's going to be more interesting. Both men are going to want it. This time, Tommy is going to have the mental edge of thinking, I won. Jake is going to have that mental edge of thinking, well, if that was me on a bad performance. But let's talk about the excuses. What was up with saying, what was it? He was sick twice.
Sick twice.
He injured himself.
He injured his arm, yeah.
Yeah, and there were a third one. I can't remember.
He just said he just felt fat. Like,
yeah, it's like, why do the polls just say I was sick?
Honestly, it must have been in the family or something, man.
Yeah, because just before they literally put the microphone and was like, are you feeling 100%? He was like, yeah. But obviously he's going to say that. He's not going to go, no, I'm 50%.
Yeah. No, I just think, the first few sentences that Jake had said, I was giving him respect for because he had said, right, congrats to Tommy Fury, he won and everything. That's that. And of course, he has a right to disagree with the judge's decision. That's fine. There's no problem with that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I believe Tommy did win and he won comfortably, but Jake's going to have his own opinion. That's fine. But it was just excuses, man. It was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, I thought Tommy did win, but then when Jake got that knockdown in the last round, I was thinking, are they going to put that to a draw?
Yeah, when Jake knocked Tommy down, my heart sunk because I thought that they would. I didn't trust the judging decision, to be honest. So I felt that a draw was coming.
Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of glad it wasn't a draw though because Tommy did deserve the win. People can say what they want, but Tommy did deserve to win. A lot of people today, some people are disrespecting him, saying, why is he so happy? It's Jake Paul. Of course he was going to win, but literally yesterday, not many people were on his side.
Yeah. I mean, Tommy, at the end of the day, he's put in the work, he put in the performance, and he 100% deserves to win. It was a comfortable win. I think Jake looked better than a lot of people expected. Yeah. But Tommy outboxed him at the end of the day and landed the better shots.
Yeah, I agree. And quickly, before we wrap up, do you quickly want to say anything else about the Tommy Jake fight before we wrap up?
I just want to say, no matter what your feelings are on him, I don't like him. And no matter what you think about these influencer boxers, I hope people can start to see that Jake is good for the sport and he can actually, he has some hustle to him and he can go in there and get some important wins.
Yeah, I agree, man. That is a good final statement to wrap up episode 2 of Crossover Convos, guys. Thank you to everyone who's been subscribing, supporting the channel, commenting. We really both appreciate it. Check out the Twitter page. I'll link everything in the description. Check out TheFrostZone. Subscribe to him.
Thank you, man. Yep, check out MikeyPlays.
Thank you, man. And that is it for episode 2. So we will come back Friday, 6 p.m. Check it out, guys. Until then, goodbye.
Take care, everyone.